Yeah, you might not have to chase that far to try and get those kills, or they clean it up right away, but they'll have a chance to clean up everything they want to in game number 3. Let's move into those picks and bans, and I want to make sure that I'm not just making it sound like Armada played poorly. Cryptik played well. I thought Yuji had a great game on the Bakasura for what it was worth.
That Baka, it felt like it was designated for Hera. That's what the Bakasura pick felt like, because I felt like anywhere you saw Meerkat, there was probably Yuji lurking around the corner waiting to snack on him.
And he absolutely did in that game. Bakasura is going eat, and that's what we saw happen in game number 2. We'll see if Armada can make the adjustment in game number 3, where they've banned out the Bacchus and the King Arthur. Won't be seeing either one of those this time. Mineral got to play something different because he had a nice game for himself as well.
It was nice seeing Mineral shift away from some of the more, I guess, familiar Guardian picks as well for Mineral. I think that we are so used to seeing him on like the Ganesh, the Athenas, that it's kind of nice whenever he's able to bring something new to the table as a response. Armada, though, still holding strong to this Ninja selection, and I understand it entirely. I think if you're looking to prioritize a substitutes power play moment, and that would probably be it for Homiefe.
He's played it in both games so far, so it would be a surprise if they switched away, but maybe that's the play. Maybe, you know, they're expecting it'll be the Naja support, and this is where you flex into something else, but they'll have to flex into something different in the solo lane this time, as Janus has actually been taken by Cryptik. We won't be seeing the solo Baskin Janus this time.
Not this time around. Meerkat, though, seems as though Game 2s did not serve as enough of deterrents to get him away from this Hera pick, and he might also actually be trying to rally the rest of Armada behind him, like, okay, guys, I want some protection this game.
I kind of like the idea of it because we know that Meerkat's a strong player, and he's like, all right, let me clean this up. He ended with, what, 5 kills, but all 3 of them came on, or 3 of them came on that Titan defense at the very end of the game.
All right, so KDA is all that matters in rank. That's all that's going to matter here for Meerkat
That's
today.
Right. It ended, he got him in the end. That's all that really matters. As the Bakasura pulled in again, got to imagine that one's for Yuji. So, I mean, it worked well for him in game 2. That might spell some problems, actually, for Armada.
Regurgitate also tends to be problematic for Hera because it's just annoying being crippled inside. And I know that Hera doesn't have, like, a jump or anything, but it affects the rest of Armada from being able to assist as quickly. Plus, you get that slight moment of CC immunity, so in case a Hera tries to respond by dropping the Argus, you're not going to get knocked up. You will eat the damage out of that, but hopefully as a Bakasura, you're able to deal a little bit more outwards than what you're taking in.
I love the optimism of this second ban phase from Team Cryptik, as if you could ban enough things from Scream to stop him from going 10-0-20 in this game. I don't think it matters what you give him at this point. I like it, though. I like the idea. Maybe we should try and slow down Scream. I just don't know how you do it yet. I haven't seen it happen.
I think one of my favorite parts about seeing a former pro like Scream fall into the minor league largely due to, I believe, schooling issues was the main reason why I wanted to finish up high school, which, you know, totally respect him for that. Sure. Education is important, of course, but bringing him into the minor league to compete against some of these minor league junglers, this is, I think, a really promising set for players like Yuji, who were right there on the cusp. I mean, Yuji was nearly the jungler for Splice once upon a time ago.
Season 5, I think.
And now that he's getting to have some of this experience against seasoned players like Scream, I think that this could give a little bit of insight to some of these minor league teams as to how to better deal with escalating their gameplay from minor to professional.
I think you're exactly right. This is going right into the hyperbolic time chamber under the greatest of stress, it feels like, trying to jungle up against Scream. He's one of the best that we've got, so it's hard to try and think of a way to find better practice. As they round out with the Ratatoskr and the Pele, either one of those could be going in the jungle, but I don't know. It feels like Scream would want Pele here to me.
I could say Scream on the Pele and Baskin on the Rata.
I think that could probably be the case. Team Cryptik, though, going to round it out with the Guan Yu and the Jing Wei. These are the squads they're taking it to game number 3, the decider match. Are Armada going to stay up at the top of the SML in North America, or can Cryptik upseat the top team? Let's find out. Get it over to Hindu and Aggro.
I agree. The only thing that can guarantee you is it'll be Hera mid for Meerkat.
Wow.
It's the only thing I could guarantee.
Way to go out on a limb, man. That was
impressive.
Thanks,
man. I appreciate it. I'm not surprised to see Pele in the jungle for Scream. Is Pele still good, by the way?
I think so. I think that she still excels in the early to mid game. I think that in the late game, she's a little bit less of a nuisance, I think is the right word. She doesn't heal nearly as much as she used to.
Well, Snoopy takes a trade, doesn't do very well, but luckily Homiefe is there once again with the 3rd ring toss. in 3 games at level 1, which will always cause a couple of problems. The Artio selection, though, interesting this time.
It's really about the combination with Jing, where you have that exact combo we just saw. It just gets more and more potent as the game goes on. Root into knock-up every single time, but...
Homie's in a lot of trouble. The bear comes to play. Mineral going in for the kill, changes his mind. Both use sprint. And happy with the trade overall, I guess, is BennyQ and Mineral, realizing they've kept Homie in check that way.
I think that Armada should be much happier because Cryptik's sprint is worth a lot more. The slow is actually relevant for Homie and Snoopy, whereas there's no real slow that Mineral and BennyQ have. It's just that
Bear dash.
They just need the... That's a slow, sure.
Yeah,
but
I'm saving it, you know. Don't disrespect my real guardian.
Is a little bit scarier, I'd say.
It's true. But a bear coming at you over a ring, like, what should
Much scarier, you're right. Yeah, I don't think that I could take a bear. A ring is like, whatever.
Right-hand side, it's going to be Baskin on the Ratatoskr. Not mentioned it just yet. Up against Guan, Protection Shred versus Protection Shred.
Yeah, but Guan has a lot more protection.
Listen, that's the only thing I know about this matchup is they've both got Protection Shred. It's not one you see too often. I guess Acorn cancels out Tallow Assault, which is pretty good.
Yep, and in Baskin, they both have some sustain. Baskin coming by way of his completed Acorn. Zearoe, of course, with Conviction Heal. It's really if Baskin can consistently interrupt Tallow Assault with that stun, that's where you'll see it start to always go in his favor. Otherwise, in the early game, I'd imagine it's still going
Screams back to the dual lane once more, and Scream will get first blood with a gank at just under 2 minutes. Kind of seen that a couple of games now.
It's pretty good. He did it in game 1, not this early by any stretch, but ganked duo in general, got himself really ahead. There's 2 bodies there that you can take golden XP from, and that's what makes it so valuable.
So what's going on with Hera? Because we're not really seeing too much of it. I mean, I'm mentioning because Meerkat's playing it this game, did last game. But the rest of the leagues, in console and minor league the last 2 weeks, I didn't see as much of her as I expected to.
I think a lot of teams are undervaluing Hera right now. I think she's very strong. I think she has some bad matchups. Bakasura can certainly be one of them, but even there, as long as Meerkat doesn't fall as far behind as he did in game 2, he can really bully out this Baka pretty well. You get absorb so many auto attacks with Divine Shroud, and you can just pump out so much damage with Argus right next to you and Divine Shroud going at the same time. That's the big thing, is you just need to be patient with your 3, make sure Argus comes down first, because you're going to need that DPS coming from Argus with that pulsating damage when you use your 3 in order to win the trade.
We can see as well Cernunnos for Snoopy here. We've not seen too much Cernunnos, but a lot of talk about his potential going into this year with how Runeforged hammers have been fitted into builds, and it looks like Snoopy's going to be going for that this game.
As he should. I think there's so much CC on the side of Armada that it's so worth your while. Because remember, it's not just the damage coming from
it's any
you.
CC, right?
It's any CC they're affected by. So if they're polymorphed, if they're slowed by Homiefe's ring toss, if Scream has just knocked them up, if Baskin slowed them with his 1, all of those count.
And that's what I'm kind of looking at with this Runeforged thing, where the Hunters are starting to get crazy with it. I can agree that it's a viable item, but I don't think it's an every game build. It's kind of dependent on the rest of your comp too. Are you going to get enough slows to make the CC stay up, which means you're keeping the damage up? Or is it just better to go Devourer's Gauntlets or Transcendence for better damage overall at a base?
You're right. If I'm a character like Jing in particular, could I go Runeforged? Sure. I've got a knock-up and I've got a lot of CC on my team. Cryptik doesn't have a lot of hard CC, but it doesn't require that they're stunned. It just requires that they're slowed, or as long as they're not displaced, you have a lot of options. Though do remember that it doesn't work on knockups.
Yeah, I was gonna say the Cernunnos is the one that I can see it more than anybody else just because of the stances, the winter stance giving him frost every single basic.
I also think it's good on Ho-Yi because you can stun them, with auto attack every time you drop your ult. They're slow, and you get an auto attack guaranteed off your knockup. I think it can work pretty well for Ho-Yi. I'm a little surprised we haven't seen more of him because of it. I think he could be pretty potent with it.
I'm still not sold on that though. Even then, I'm still like, it's so dependent on landing that combo, and if you miss that combo, speaking of combo, here's one onto Eugene. There's no escape there. He had beads and he used them, but he still couldn't get to the wall in time that Sops presented for him.
It was late. Those beads were pretty late. That was a really good idea by Sops. Quick reaction time, put the portals right on top of him. Sops did everything he could and had a good instinct, but just wasn't enough. Good commit from all of Armada. I
think it was pretty funny too, because I think Baskin backed up for a second against Zearoe because that through space and time from Sops actually came near his lane, near the Fire Giant too. He knows about that.
Do you think he'll be able to line it up later on?
Don't know. He's on Ratatoskr now. He's got 3 chances to position himself correctly, right?
And he gets right on top of it. He doesn't have to. It's a different style of what you're looking at. It's a top-down thing.
Funny enough, talking about weird abilities and stuff. Hang on a second. Sops is going to get pushed out. Oh my God, Homie was just waiting there like, hello, congratulations, you played yourself. gets picked up. Unfortunate for sops there. I was about to say, though, play dodgy. I don't play too much dodgy, but I started playing a couple of assassins lately that I've not really touched. It's really frustrating as dodgy when you power low and you can't do it against a wall because you're in the wall. It blocks you.
Just
sucks.
like slide to the left.
But yet Kraken can still be
Slide
fired
to the
at
right.
wards now, pretty much.
You can take it back now, y'all.
One hop this time.
Yeah, then you'll be fine.
Does dodgy hop?
Yeah, every character has a jump.
No, she said like her blade thing. She's not even using the legs.
No, she just kind of
That's
floats
OP,
around.
by the way.
Yeah.
Doesn't use the legs to swing basic attacks. That's crazy.
They're even better than basic attacks. There's a lot of them.
I'll tell you what, Homie is doing a very good job at the moment of rotating around the map and burning beads and forcing issues, and that's a beads and an airstrike down for Cryptik already. Armada up 3 kills so far, all across the map.
I'm very surprised that Cryptik's been okay with Homie playing Naja 3 games in a row.
Yeah, I was thinking that after maybe after game 2 you're like, okay, but here's the turnaround play, or is it? What a stash after the ultimate too. Still Yuji alive, jumps on Snoopy, has to juke, can't juke the final shot. Mineral will turn around though and get Homiefe, but Snoopy and Scream are a little bit deep here, and Janus could come back into the fray.
Sops very low. Meerkat's here and has his ultimate, but it's
Didn't
Sops
see
who
him.
gets caught. Snoopy pounces on him in the jungle, and now there's buffs to be taken for Armada. That was a beautiful ultimate by Yuji. Perfectly timed, just didn't get rewarded.
BennyQ's got no beads, BennyQ's got no ult, but he will get back to the tower range of safety. The damage after the fact was pretty good. The polymorph and the hands of Argus come out onto Mineral, but Mineral's tanky enough to weather the storm for now,
Smart.
but Argus being dropped opens a window for Scream to get to the backline.
Argus is just there to tank the tower. That's all that was about. Really good communication.
Why are they back him? Why don't they just take it?
They're a little bit low, and there's buffs coming up. Speed buffs coming up.
Speed buff ping straight away. Homie's already there like, got you, fam.
He's a jungler. He
I know.
knows.
Even Baskin's on his way. No, Yuji, you shall not take it. Someone take it. Wow, I expected one of them to take it. They left it for Scream.
Wow, that's very kind of them. Homie's a jungler at heart, man. He knows the most important thing. He was there.
I was really impressed by how Baskin and Homiefe both go to defend the speed buff.
Probably because this is how comms went. This is my Scream impression. If he gets my speed, I'm leaving the game.
That's fair, and to be fair, he's carried all 3 games so far. Even the one that he lost, I think he had a great set, did Scream at the moment. And then
And Homie gets his own speed. See,
oh, he stole that.
all's well that ends
That's fair.
well.
He knew. Homie just felt self-confidence. Don't worry, I'll just go get theirs. 3-man pressure in mid then. Homiefe with a ring toss does connect. Sops loses a third of his health. As Yuji continues doing what Yuji does well, I think, he's consistently farming. Sometimes it gets him in trouble, though.
Yeah, his penchant for farm is definitely a little too strong.
Yeah, nice walked into Scream, trying to escape round the back. Gets back towards Mineral. There's a portal. Baskin's there, though. Baskin giving chase with a dash. Can't find the spin. Yuji is out, but now the rest of the Cryptik are trying to run away as well, and they're caught in awkward spots because Yuji needed help.
Scream's going to have that ultimate pretty soon, but Yuji gets up and over the wall. Airstrike actually
Homie
used by
still
BennyQ. Don't know how much pressure he was really under. Maybe Snoopy was trying to cut him off at purple.
Could be a Gold Fury here. Scream looking for extra poke, finds it on BennyQ. But Gold Fury definitely available on the cards. With this purple spawning too, Scream able to get a bit more free farm over there and actually maybe bring Pele in again.
May as well and get that extra buff farm where you can. Mineral's coming in, but he's the only one close enough. Sops has through space and time.
But there's nothing worse than sitting there as an Artio going, well, I could become a bear, or I could just get ulted because there's nothing I can do about it anyway. Follow-up damage isn't there.
Wow.
Sops had it, though, with the unstable Vortex, I believe. Was that through space and time?
It was, yeah. He lined that up beautifully. Again, right on top of where that player is getting ulted, gets them out of danger, and puts himself in a position to deal damage. Sops has been impressive to me so far.
I think he's had a good set, even though he doesn't like the team has had a wholly great set overall. I think his game of the Sol was really good. But the one thing I want Sops to see more of is if he's going to play mid lane, he's got to play more mages, less of the basic attack hunters.
Played 3 mages so far this set. He's 3
I
for
mean,
3.
Sol's one of those edge cases, though, you know? That's what I'm saying.
It's baby steps, Graham. Baby steps.
We're getting there.
That's right.
We're getting there. Speed buff is Scream, no surprise. However, he'll lose his harpies. You won't be happy about that at all. Sops actually jumps through a portal there and may still be chased down. Has to use Threshold in the sky. Is it a bird? Is it a plane? No, it's Baskin.
Perfect timing. Sops has the beads in it. Will matter, actually. Scream didn't have a Pyroclast to throw through that wall. Thought he was going to have the option available. Blue buff still goes down in favor of Armada, but Sops' escape, unlikely, but successful.
The beads didn't help him, but it He got out. That's the main thing. Maybe just glowing gold helps you sometimes.
No, it's he actually channeled the spirit of Boosh with the Boosh beads, and he just absorbed that cosmic power.
That is not a name I've heard in a very long time.
That's a classic Boosh beads right there.
I know, but I've not heard Bush's name in a long, long time.
Hey, man.
He was one of the funniest Ra players to watch ever. His jukes were so good. Mineral slashed in mid lane, stuns Homie in response, Sops on the way to support, but mainly for wave clear. Yuji at level 9, meanwhile Scream at level 10, so a bit of an experience gap there. There's 4k gold difference between the two.
Experience isn't quite out of hand yet, but it's pretty close. The good news is that XP spread out a little bit. No one role has a massive advantage. Baskin is looking very good so far, though, up 2 levels over Zearoe without any real ganks on that right side. It's just been Baskin's rotations and perfect timing.
Big gank from Baskin with that blink in mid lane, and there's nothing Sops can do about that. No beads available. As soon as he gets stunned, he's annihilated. Didn't even get a window to get to a portal for the wall anyway.
Argus was dropped at the same time. Good communication there and good reaction time by Meerkat.
BennyQ needed some reaction time to get away from Snoopy there. Looks to chill, box him out, but the problem is his Homie is here. BennyQ with a nice little use of the gust to get back to safety, and Homie off the mark with the Windfire Wheels. Gets a bit of return damage from BennyQ. 2v1, BennyQ holds his own.
The tower under siege still, though. Baskin under half HP. Getting pretty low, but Meerkat's going to have to just poke this down with some mage auto attacks. Finally, the tier 1 tower falls, but Scream loses a pretty good amount of health for it. Zearoe was thinking about the ultimate.
Yeah, space of time. Not going to clip onto Pele in the back, but Snoopy goes down to Yuji on the left-hand side. Cavalry charge out of Zearoe causes some problems for Homiefe, but not enough for a kill, and Scream is still around. And now Zero's overextended, but he doesn't get knocked up. Instead, he gets polyed.
Volcanic Lightning still not quite enough, though, and now Scream's been kind of put on the hook. He can't run away quite yet. He heals himself a little bit, but it won't be enough. Mineral gets the killing blow. Cryptik, good punish onto Armada. It's not over yet, Graham. I mean, they're only down by 3k.
I really like what Yuji did there, recognizing there was a window on Snoopy on that left-hand side. All the pressure was on BennyQ momentarily, but then Yuji comes over, picks up a kill with the gank attempt onto Snoopy, who clearly didn't use his beads there either by the looks of it.
Beads don't really help you there very much against Bakasura.
Yeah, they do. You press his regurgitate, you press beads, you press dash.
And then he presses jump.
I'm just saying it does help.
To prolong your life a little bit.
That's for a window.
Okay, I feel like you're moving the goalposts on me a little bit here. Is the goal to
Aegis?
Is the goal to live?
Aegis helps you for a few seconds.
Sure. Is the goal to live, or is the goal to live a little bit longer?
The amount of beads I've seen burnt in those situations time and time again, I don't know
Zapman's
anymore.
Been in the pro league.
I don't know anymore. Why are you roasting Zap for? What is
those are the classic Zap relics.
Zap did well last year. He made it all the way to Worlds.
Listen, I
say this. He didn't win Worlds, but he made it there.
I say this with the utmost respect.
I say
this with the utmost respect for Zapman as a player and as a person, and I've never seen someone use more useless relics than him. And I love that about him. I do. Because he's always trying to make the big play. And I love that.
Well, currently relics are back up in the duel, and they're going to be needed again. BennyQ has to airstrike away from Scream. Mineral doesn't have the same pressure. May have to use the sprint, but Homiefe going to use the Windfire Wheels and set up the damage on landing.
Wild Hunt right there as well. He was already an animal. Why did you need a boar instead of a bear? You could have killed him in that form.
Yeah, this build coming out from Sops, actually, we just saw that through space and time connect with Homiefe. But look how little that actually did, because this build's a little bit all over the place here. Breastplate of Valor up next.
Corrupted by BennyQ, man. That's the way it goes. Really worried about the damage coming from Homie and Baskin, I suppose, but Celestial Legion Helm at least doesn't completely neuter your damage.
He thinks
like
he's out.
Will.
He thinks he's out. He's not. Sashing from Homiefe. Gets a good couple of basics. Ring toss off the mark, but Benny's out of abilities to escape. The rest of his team couldn't really help there. They were too busy trying to make sure they secured their own red. Tier 1 tower was already dying anyway, but this Tier 2 could be under threat next.
It just feels to me like you're never going to get a more mobile character than Janus. If you can't live, I understand how mobile that Pele and Ratatoskr can be, but you just have to try and put yourself in a position to capitalize on their over-aggression, get some help. You need to be putting out damage, and Breastplate just completely removes that option from you.
The one problem with this set specifically is the lack of ward coverage that's happened. This is because this is both teams that like to just play aggressive, like to, think they can outplay the other team with just, superior play. But the problem is you get yourself caught in really awkward situations where you don't ward certain areas, and teams can just walk in like they do.
And Baskin, the fact that he's been able to rotate as easily as he has been.
Baskin placed a ward just then, as I said.
Oh, look at that. Maybe he heard you.
Yeah.
Maybe he just wants to find someone to kill at that point. No, he put him on the enemy back camps. He wants to just steal those as soon as they're up.
I was going to say, for Baskin to be buying wards in the solo lane, something that he never used to do, that is something that he's adapted and learned from mid lane.
Yeah, I'd say so. Because you're always going to die in mid if you don't have wards. In solo, it's just people you can go and kill.
Pretty much. Scream at level 14, still only a level ahead of Yuji, which shows just how good Yuji is at the farming situation, even though the game itself is a little bit less than even. All the tier 1 towers now down for Cryptik. So they've only got tier 2s to deal with, and Sops is a little bit far forward, no beads, but he will get away for the time being unless they continue to chase.
Still with ultimate and Aegis is a good idea by Armada to just let Sops go. Scream does have Blink, but Sops definitely out of range now. All that CDR for his breastplate of Valor. And to be fair, he probably would have died in that position without the breastplate.
Now the pressure's in mid lane from Armada looking for a tier 2. Regurgitate from Yuji's doing pretty good damage, but the whole squad together is doing a lot more from Armada. Mineral was there, Mineral tries to get out, but Baskin turns up in the nick of time.
Great some times there from Sops as well, but not enough damage anymore to actually make it impact. Scream juking around that Talu Assault, needs to use Volcanic Lightning, but it's already on cooldown. He's in some trouble, but still alive.
Still alive, but for how long? Long enough right now. Talu Assault is available. The knocker was good, and the peel was even better, but Scream's not leaving. He's trying to stay in the action. Zearoe's thinking about going in. Meanwhile, the rest of his team have been annihilated. Only Sops is left. Surrender vote has begun. As
not a great sign.
The Fury is available right now.
Not a great sign here for Team Cryptik. I mean, they're down by what feels like more than 6,000 gold, I will say. Right around that mark, but it's the experience really starting to impact.
You can definitely feel that surrender vote come out from Cryptik the moment that Scream lives there. You know, they invested a lot to try and kill Scream, and he still survived. Then they take losses on the backline because of it, and it's just awkward to try and hang around and go, you know what, this is not going well.
That wild hunt from Snoopy was sick. Perfect timing. If there was 2 more ticks of Talu Assault, I think Scream dies, but not only the silence, but the slow on top of it makes it pretty easy for him to escape. And Baskin's 6 levels. Make that 5 over Sops.
The first 2 weeks of SML we've seen so far means it's Armada versus Space Station Gold next week.
That is correct.
That could be a very interesting set to watch. I mean, Space Station Gold been struggling. Armada definitely having fun in their set so far. Could continue the trend with how this is looking.
Maybe Armada will be so far ahead it'll force Chapo to buy Aegis instead of Blink in the mid lane.
Or something other than Bancrafts on a mage.
Ah, no, that won't happen.
That's going to continue the way. Yeah. Blue buff's available on the right side, but Sops in pressure again. And this is what I keep seeing from Sops, unfortunately, this game, is that every time he turns up somewhere, immediately he's forced back out again.
And again, it's lack of ward coverage. On the left-hand side, there are exactly 0 red wards on the map. So Snoopy's able to play really aggressively. Now a ward on red buff, but that isn't so good for you right now.
Those damage numbers kind of telling you the tale of how this game's going as BennyQ's overextended here yet again. Trying to push up. He's going to be forced to airstrike away. Lives to fight another day.
That's the Runeforged Cernunnos you have to respect. That was a lot of damage from just a root and a couple auto attacks.
So what's the play here? Is it Hail Mary, Fire Giant?
Not quite yet. You wait until Armada start the Fire Giant, and then you jump on them.
But you know someone's F6'd on your team already. They've tried to surrender vote, which means we're not feeling good. And BennyQ will probably make it worse. Yuji was there. Yuji was there. He's not anymore. Sops was there. He's also been forced back out again. Mineral, I would hate to be Mineral in this spot, to be fair. Like, the whole team's just falling apart around you, and you're a bear lost in the woods.
At least he's warm. He's got a nice coat.
Cozy.
Yes.
Zearoe, meanwhile, hasn't been able to do too much in this game. Level 17, 2 levels down on Baskin, but not been able to really make an impact. Hasn't died yet, though, but I don't want to jinx him by saying that. Homiefe is clearly not happy about that situation, looking to change it.
Zearoe now going to receive the ultimate from Homiefe. Not a lot of follow-up.
No, speed buff was more important in that instance for Scream, it seems, and Snoopy was split pushing for a Phoenix. Sops is there to clear up the wave, though. Zearoe still blocks him with Homie as Meerkat shows his face. Remember, around the corner finds a route on Scream. Knock-up not available for BennyQ as somebody blinked.
That was Zearoe going right on top of Meerkat. Meerkat has both relics available, uses the Aegis, still takes an awful lot of damage. Able to get a knock-up there. Did Zearoe cancel his Talu Assault?
He must have cancelled that, right? Because Talu Assault can't be knocked up. So that's why me and Magro just looked at each other like, wait, what just happened there? We'll look into that and find out exactly what later on as Yuji's looking for a kill on Baskin, can't find it. The piggies are everywhere, but they're squealing not for the right reasons. Another kill, another 2 kills for Armada. This is a bloodbath.
20-4, 21-4. Scream notches his 5th in a row, 8-1 overall.
Armada's pretty good.
Yeah, I think so.
You'd think so coming in on paper, and it looks like so too. They're still having fun with this, Ryan. I'm just concerned what the future holds for this team when they come against difficult opposition.
You would expect that this Armada team is going to be able to finish in the spots where they would be able to play against some of the SPL teams.
If they don't make #1 in Minor League NA,
That's
something's wrong, I'd say, in their mentality of how they're playing the game, because their confidence is there. They've got the ability on this roster for sure. They've just got to keep following through that, I feel like. And it's up to the rest of SML NA to play catch-up, basically. Try and put the pressure on to make them play to the best potential.
And it's really less about the strength of the rest of the NA SML. It's really about how strong this particular team can be. I mean, you've got Scream and Baskin, two of the best players in their worlds in their roles. Snoopy's been an SPL player from the very beginning. Meerkat, despite being a little bit rusty for the competitive scene, used to be in the SPL still and dominated the Collegiate League last year. Homiefe, not the usual player, but Gino proved himself as an SPL level support last year. I mean, this team could really compete at even the highest levels. It's just circumstances that put them here in the minor league. So the rest of the minor league can kind of react to this a couple different ways. I think the best way for them to look at it is this is a really, really good opportunity for us to get a lot better really, really quickly.
You learn a lot by losing, and you may not feel that way in your games when you lose at home. Same for this Cryptik team here, but you can learn a lot by the mistakes you make, because these rosters that Armada are putting together, they're not the greatest by any stretch of the imagination. But they're working because they're making you not play your game.
Yuji jumps right on top of Baskin, and Baskin goes 1v3. Yeah, I like my odds. Just wait for his cooldowns a little bit. Wait for BennyQ to finish the back. No, BennyQ sticks around, but it doesn't matter. See, that would just tilt me off the face of the planet that I get 1v3'd with my teammates there. I wouldn't be able to
I mean, what are they supposed to do about the landing? They can't stop him from coming in. BennyQ might be able to punish him for staying around, though, but Homiefe is here. No beads, no Aegis, no life.
Yeah, and by the way, right-hand side, Phoenix
nice
almost dies. That was really nice by Snoopy. Threw that way in anticipation of the portal. Just not enough to get the kill. Right side Phoenix down. Left side Phoenix the only one standing.
And this is going to be the conclusion, shortly, I'd say, of the Minor League North America. Take into account next week, if you've been tuning in, we've got patch notes tomorrow, first of all, I should say. But next week, we've got Console Minor League and the start of the Smite Pro League.
Is it next week already?
It's next week already.
Let's go.
You say that, but it feels like it's been half a year since I've casted some pro games.
I know. I don't know. I'm amped for it, man. It's going to be so much fun. I can't wait. Mid Phoenix already down. Titan already down. Okay.
I don't know why you were still talking. I thought it was over. 24-4 Armada take game 3. Could have been a situation where it was a 2-0, I feel like, but that's a good little window for Cryptik, to be fair, to find a victory.
That helps their plus-minus quite a bit.
I know, yeah.
So that's actually really big for Cryptik. Armada maybe stay away. I mean, Baskin didn't play a Warrior all day today. Played a couple Warriors last week. I want to see Baskin play some King Arthur. Where's that at? I mean...
Can he play it?
I don't think so. In fact, he explicitly told me I can say, I don't know what that god does. That's what
makes
he said
sense. I want to see someone run it against him and see if he can work it out that way.
Oh, they're going to ban it every game. He doesn't know what the god does.
So just ban it. That makes sense. Well, eventually someone will get to play against him, but that's it for Armada. They find the 2-1 victory. What do you have to say about it, Desk?
That they are who we thought they were, at least in the end. A Game 3 victory that was dominant from Armada over Team Cryptik, and really, it didn't look like there were a whole lot of options available to that squad to try and slow them down. Taco, I mean, what stood out from you in that game? I mean, Meerkat played a lot better from what I saw. Scream and Baskin continued to farm as we expected that they did. What stood out for you?
Yeah, Meerkat got to play Smite in Game 3, and that was a pretty refreshing change for him, I'm sure. But I think that one big thing I definitely noticed from that last match that catapulted Armada into that overwhelming lead was the rotations from Baskin on the Ratatoskr, and that's kind of one of the leisures you have being Ratatoskr solo. It's a factor that I think a lot of teams still need to keep an eye out for. I don't think that Cryptik were as wary of that Ratatoskr as they probably should have been. The ward coverage could have been a little bit better, but these are all really important factors that when Cryptik is watching this VOD back and watching this setback to see, okay, where can we make improvements for games 1 and 3, arguably even 2 could have some room for adjustments. But I definitely think that was just an instance of Baskin taking full advantage of the early game being a little bit more slow-paced at times and just looking to develop a lead off of that Rata gang.
He certainly played well. Scream also made some very fruitful early rotations. He very quickly got the dual lane in favor of Homie and Snoopy by putting in some ganks, getting a nice kill into Benny very early on. I think that was first blood that Scream was able to find. So it did not take long, I think, for this game to get off the rails. And Cryptik didn't have nearly as many ways to try and slow it down, partially because Yuji this time was one of the many targets. So he didn't get to have nearly as good a game on the Bakasura as we saw in Game 2.
Yeah, it's tough to beat Bakasura when you constantly have either Pele or Ratatoskr jumping on top of you at every possible opportunity. I think another thing, too, is that this Cryptik draft was a lot less forgiving in terms of when they fell behind, you just felt every single instance of it. All of those team fights, the damage just not being able to match up to that of Armada.
Yeah, an impressive game from Armada. They continue to look like the best team in the North American SML. In fact, I believe they're at the top of the standings. To prove it, let's go ahead and take a look. And there they are, 2-0, +3 on the plus or minus. After that 3-game setup against Cryptik, they could be doing even better. Cryptik right there beneath them, then Sanguine, and unfortunately for Space Station Gold, all the way down at the bottom. Though if there can be an 0-2 that you can feel comfortable about building on, maybe Space Station have it. They've been fairly close in all 4 of the games they've lost, the individual games that they've lost.
At third time's the charm. That's
third
the way
week, maybe?
That's what they tell me all the time. I'll be like, oh, just wait till next week.
Yeah, maybe they'll have a chance to clean up. They've been getting progressively closer. It was 0-2,
progressively
then
better.
1 and 2. So I'm right there.
To be fair, I mean, the bar was a little bit low from the first week, so it's only going to go up from there.
That's right. They've got some chances to make some improvements. And remember, we're always improving the game as well. The patch notes, that's going to be tomorrow at 3. Make sure that you're right here to check it out. 3 p.m. Eastern, obviously. We're the center of everything, so assume it's around our time zone. And then the SPL, as you heard Hindu alluding to towards the end there, which is my job, is going to be picking up next week on Thursdays and Friday. So, Taco, things are starting to heat up here. You don't want to miss a single moment.
I am excited for that SPL coverage, man. It's been a long time coming here. I think a lot of the players could say the same, and I know the fans back at home, you guys have been itching for that Pro League action also.
Absolutely. Luckily, we got some SCL and SML to sort of wage you until we make it there. But SPL, that's all next week. But remember, patch notes tomorrow. You absolutely don't want to miss that. That's going to do it for us here at the North American SML. Thank you for watching. Make sure to check out patch notes tomorrow.